we did something like a mini research with two of my students. And we were trying to find out whether different media outlets in Kuwait were using or had codes of ethics, and how those codes of ethics describing how the media should best perform its duties and roles, and how those codes would be enforced. So let me give you briefly what we found out. So first off, we spoke with an editor of Al Watan newspaper, the #1 by this point newspaper in Kuwait. We asked this person, we asked him if his paper has a code of ethics. So his initial response was, "I've never heard of that word. What do you mean?" And then my students, because my Arabic is pretty dodgy too, so do forgive me, I will try to pronounce this and probably fail. So my helper, my assistant, translated. So what about if you've never heard of a code of ethics? What about, maybe I should ask you to help me with that.
ميثاق الشرف.
Thank you very much. That's one of the complications of doing research in the region. Yes, well, unless you speak Arabic. And the answer to this was that, well, ethics is defined by the principles in religion, and it's the government's policies that compose such ethics. And when we asked this person, finally, if his newspaper had a printed version of this code of ethics, he said no, because these codes are innate. They are supposed to be known. And when we moved on to another newspaper and television channel, Al Rai, we asked the same questions. Then we got from one of the young female journalists, broadcast journalists, saying that the code of ethics is easily available. Also, it is related to government policies, and then she went on to add explicitly, we are not allowed to criticize the government. And then she also confirmed that these codes are commonly known among people in society, therefore it would be pointless to have a printed version of this particular code.
I think the ethics is very much related to the ownership, because the ownership is, or the owners are the people who set the agenda for the press. So if the owners have have ethics, then the media will have ethics, okay? And we can see in the Arab world, we have a lot of problems concerning the ethics of authorities. And of course, sequentially, it will be the ethics of the media. We are seeing now some changes now, and maybe these changes will add changes for the media also in terms of ethics, but we're still waiting.
You know, I'm kind of in trouble, really, because when I was invited generously by CAS to participate, I called my brother and I told him he's a media expert. And I told him that I'm participating in this seminar, and he told me, what is it about? I told him it's about media and ethics. And I told him, can you give me something that can make me sound that I know what I'm talking about? And he said that would be very tough. He told me, well, first, are you going to talk after lunch or before lunch? And he said, I told him it's after lunch. And he told me, don't worry, nobody will listen to you. So, but what I remember is that he talked a lot for about 1 hour, and I was not really paying attention. You know, I would rather leave the topic on journalism and ethics to the expert. But what I remember is that he told me every other sentence, say the word objectivity. And people will think that you know what you're talking about. So if you please help me out. Every 5 minutes, can you remind me to say the word objectivity? So so you will think that I will know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to code of ethics, in Oman we do not have a set code of ethics per se. But what I think is happening in the region is very interesting. I think it's very positive, whether we call it a revolution, whether we call it a civil movement, because what it has produced is a stronger, more vibrant local media. And what I work for is, I work for an organization that is a think tank. And we try to do two things. First, look at the big picture, who are the main players, and second, apply a more pragmatic approach to change. And when we set it up 3 years ago, It was a group of a very intelligent people who thought that there would be a movement in the region 3 years ago because there was something brewing, especially with the economic status in the region. And they needed somebody who talks a lot. So they called me and told me that if you can join us. So that's what I do with them. But the problem with codes of ethics, it's not whether it is universal or it is regional or it is local. There are 3 things that we need to think about. First, who defines the code of ethics? Second, who implements them or who uses them? Is it the media? Is it the state? Is it everybody in the society? And third, who guarantees them? Is there a law, a framework, or a constitution that can guarantee that people adhere by these ethics? And this reminds me of, everything that has to do with the media always reminds me of a cartoon, which is very sad. I cannot quote any intellectuals or books, but I can quote cartoons. But there was a cartoon that says there were 3 animals who went hunting, a lion, a tiger, and a fox. So they caught a prey, and the lion said, he turned around to his colleagues and he told them, why don't you, suggest a way how we can divide this? And the tiger jumps and says, very honestly, in a very objective way. Did I use the word objectivity? Yes. So yes, in a very objective way and very honestly. And he said, we are 3, we should share it. Third. And the lion jumped and killed the tiger. Then he turns to the fox and tells him, how do you think we should share this? He said, you should have all of it and just leave whatever left is for me. And the lion tells him, wow, that is, how did you become so honest and so wise? He said, I learned it from the dead tiger. And I think this is what has happened to the media.
The context and the differences do matter, because just based on what I've seen reported in Arabic newspapers and television, the tolerance level seems to be much higher. So the kind of pictures that can be put on the front page would never fly with any sort of mainstream British or German or whatever newspaper.
We are always against hiding, news or facts. But, some calculation comes, from here or there. And those who own, the decision or the decision making can, decide whatever to do. But let me touch the point of global ethics, which you are talking about. This is, it is not possibly obtained, but the reason for that, as if you are asking, مثلا, the people in the whole world to be honest, or all of them to be brave, all of them to be wise. It is difficult because, it is still, the media is reflecting different environments in terms of traditions, in terms of political systems, in terms of the way these groups all over the world look for freedom. Sometimes, defining the freedom differs from place to place. So it is very, very difficult. But what we can do, we can share some of the ethics which is could be valid all over the world, like allowing the information to flow without any restrictions.
In Oman, for example, most of the media is not owned by the state. It's actually private. But I cannot say that that's something positive or negative. Sometimes I see that the state media, the Oman News Agency, the TV, and the state print media responds more and more positively to the average person than the privately owned media. What happened over the past 2 months in particular is that schools of thought have developed within the private media. Some of the media have thought that, I need to survive, and the winners seem to be those who are economically advantaged. So I'm going to favor the business and the government side in the argument for or against the Arab revolution. And there are papers who are thinking more about the future, because 70% of our population are under the age of 30. So they have sided more with the dynamic movement that is in the society. The government is the one that has most of the information. So they know that there's going to be a change in the future.